I'm Justine Brown here with Dan Weber for USCFootball.com's instant analysis after day 2 of fall camp. Dan, Coach Kiffin made a point saying that it was a typical day 2. What did he mean by this?
Well, no big news stories with the installation for the brand new kids. He said it's the day you kind of hit the wall a little bit and you kind of get a little tired. So he said, but you know, it's nothing that just jumped out at you where he said, you know, Lane's always thinking in terms of storylines. So he said, no real big stories here. And then we actually got into a story, and if you want to know what it is, well, you can ask me.
He was talking about second-year players and their growth coming in and how they're filling into their roles well. Can you talk a little bit about guys like Soma and those guys?
Yeah, I think Lane did find himself then. He said, well, I think that's a story because we were talking about Andre Hadere's new body, you know, and he said, that's what second-year kids do. And then he said, look at Buck Allen. He said, you guys know what he looked like in the spring. Look at him now. DJ Morgan's kind of another kid this is kind of year 2 for him in the program. Looked very good out there. Soma Vainuku, really getting a lot of chance to do a lot of things. And so Lane was saying, it's kind of a theme here is what kids do in that second year. He says not so much, you know, the big star kids, but the kids that, you know, really have to play and have to be there. He said year 2 can be really important for them.
Talking again about position battles as we did yesterday, the defensive line, still breaking those down. What did he have to say about that battle?
Well, you know, he said that, you know, as far as Lane's concerned, he said George Yuko and Wes Horton are playing really well. He said you're just seeing flashes with the other guys, the new guys. We talked to Coach Ed Orgeron about the thinking in terms of J.R. Tavai being moved from nose to end, and then Leonard Williams being moved inside. And he just said, you know, Leonard Williams can be dominant. The player he compared him to, he said he can be that Sean Cody type player at the 3 technique. He said he's going to get so big and too big to be a defensive end. He said Tavai wasn't able to make as many plays as they would have liked at nose tackle. They think he's good in space, and so it just made a lot of sense to move him out there. But they're pretty. I think they're happy that they did it, but they said it's not going to stop there. They're going to keep moving guys around and see how everything fits. So the defensive line, clearly a work in progress.
Okay, and lastly, the tailbacks are going to be a story probably all through fall camp. DJ Morgan, he's kind of one of the guys that's definitely going to be talked about. He was singled out today. Can you talk about that? Well,
you know, Lane said all 4 tailbacks, look good. And as DJ was just saying, he said, they know I'm still kind of battling that. He said, I know I'm not supposed to talk about injuries, but, you know, they know I'm kind of battling the turf toe. But he clearly, you know, showed that burst and showed it right away. Lane singled him out and said, you know, here's a kid that's probably been being told by people, you know, you're the odd man out with Silas Red and Curtis. And he said, you know, Silas and I were good buddies from the time of the Army All-American game. And he said he's been over to my house since he's been here, and we're playing games and all that kind of stuff. He said it's all about competing, and he said coaches know I'm going to compete. And he said, you never know what's going to happen between now and, you know, the 1st of September. So, but I thought DJ looked good, and Buck Allen also had, some moments there. So when Lane is talking about him, he's saying, you know, all 4 tailbacks. And that's kind of a nice position to be in when you can say all 4 of our tailbacks look pretty good.
Thanks, Dan. I'm Justine Brown. This is Dan Weber, and this has been your day 2 of fall camp instant analysis for USCFootball.com.